Hello, can you hear me? This is the question. Do I have sound? I'll give you a second because there's always a delay. Robin, can you hear me now? Yay! Excellent. I chatted to myself for, how long have we been on? For 3 minutes without realising I had no sound. And I don't know why there was no sound. One of those mysteries. Hello. I turned the mic off and on again and it came back to life. We are professionals, as you can tell. Don't worry, I'll edit this in post and nobody will ever see. Although I always forget to actually edit it in post and just leave it up and everyone can see and it's totally fine. Anyway, hello, it's Friday. Welcome to the Felt Along. I'm going to repeat what I just said, but with you guys actually able to hear me. Yes, so we record these live on a Friday night at 6 o'clock and then they stay up so you can do them after the fact. We do get up to a lot of nonsense and my chief nonsense maker is already on stream, Robin. You'll see if you hit live chat replay below, you'll be able to see what she's saying to me and what everyone else is commenting in the chat as well. So yeah, I do ramble a lot of nonsense. I do go quite fast as well. So you are welcome to slow me down, fast forward, rewind, and if you don't want to hear my nonsense, you are more than welcome to mute me. You do not have to listen to my ramblings. Yep, she is there. Also, normally my parents are on the stream, checking they can hear me as well. But they are away with the shop dog Peanut today. They have taken her for a walk up Ben Nevis, apparently. I don't think they're going all the way up Ben Nevis. Anyway, welcome. Today is going to be a slightly different stream. I've been saying that every single time. But yeah, it's a slightly different stream. Because we have an update from a couple of streams ago. And we're trying a new technique, which I definitely didn't invent. And it wasn't my idea. But I've never seen it done anywhere else before. So we're going to try this. But first, update. Was it 2 streams ago? We needle felted a little yarn monster. And I thought you guys might like to see the final yarn monster. So I would like to introduce to you this little guy. He is finally finished. He is covered in scraggly rainbow yarn. I made his eyes a little bit smaller in the end and surrounded them with yarn. And his slightly glaikit's a great Scottish word, glaikit stare, where he's kind of staring in 2 different directions, just makes me happy. So he now sits on the desk in the shop because as well as doing the felting, I run a yarn shop in Fort William, a little Highland town in Scotland. And he sits on the desk and entertains all the customers. So this is, I don't know if we've still got a name for him. He might be Yarny McYarnface in the traditional Scottish naming system. So here he is. I would love to see ones that you have made as well. But tonight, we are doing something exciting. So a customer came, preamble. Please fast forward this if this is boring. After the fact. You can't fast forward me live, I'm sorry. You're stuck with me, Robin. A couple of days ago, a lovely customer who was doing amazing work spinning and needle felting as well, asked if you could, what you can felt onto. We had a wee chat. Yeah, cousin to the Tribbles. And we debated, because, my conversations never go straight and easy, whether you could just needle felt onto needle felt. And I'm like, yes, of course you can. But I never really do. Do I do it? And we went round in circles for a while. And I was like, right, I'm going to try and needle felt a picture using nothing but the coloured felt. So no backing, no nothing to stabilise it. And see what happens. And I have. And it worked, I think. And we're going to do that tonight. So this is a great thing to do when you've, if you've got one of my kits and because I always put in I always want you to have more of the roving, the colours, than less. So I always put extra in. So if you've got extra left over, this is how you can use it up in fun little projects. And other things that I thought about and completely forgotten. We'll figure them out in a second. So here's a couple, I'm going to show you a couple of things I played with today, and then we're going to go through the techniques. So, hiding in this corner. My very first one, I'm going to show you from worst to best. Or should I do best to worst? Let's do best to worst. Let's make you fall in love with it before you decide you never want to do it. So this one is my favorite one, I think. Or I spent the longest time on it. Is this. So it's essentially wet felting, but with needle felt. And it's double-sided. It's still thin, so if you hold up to the light, you can see through it. But look at this. And that was just using this. And this isn't even, like, I would still felt over this for a while. This isn't felted enough for my liking. But it's solid. It feels like a wet felted thing. Now, I hate wet felting, which is why I don't do it. So to be able to get the effect of wet felting with needle felting, oh yeah. Right, so that was one. We did this kind of under the sea one, where we used a few different greens and some blues. And then, wait, no, we're gonna, which order are we doing it in? So this is my first attempt that I would like to show you how terrible it looks in various places. I hadn't got the technique down, but that's fine. And now that we've got the technique down, this is what we're going to do tonight. I know it looks simple and not very exciting, but it's what you can do on top of it that is more exciting, and how you can use these. Or at least that's what I think. I could be lying to myself. I'm probably lying to myself. And I think I'm going to do kits of these, because tonight I'm going to use this needle felting holder. I may need to do another video where I'm not rambling so much at the beginning. I'm going to use this needle felting holder with 3 in it, because I am going to design and print on my 3D printer needle felting holders that only have the 3 needles in them. So that is the plan. So if you're coming here and you bought one of these kits, hello, I apologise for what has just been happening for the last 10 minutes. But we're going to get into it now. So, quick basics of needle felting. I'm going to do it on a mat. We're going to need to take it off the mat regularly. You'll see what I mean in a second. We're going to use this stuff, which is... Oh, my neighbours are pulling their blinds down, so you might hear squeaky noises for the next couple of minutes, but it's okay. This is come off the sheep. It's been washed, dyed, and formed into this roving, or tops, depending on what you want to call it. And to work with this, you want to have your hands nice and far apart, and just gently pull, and you'll see that little bits come out. If you have your hands too close together, you're pulling against the same bit of hair, and it's not going to work. And if there's any twist in it, it's not going to come apart either. Oh, that is the thing going down. I apologise for the weird noises. So, hands nice and far apart, and just gently pull. And you'll see one end is slightly fluffier than the other end. Well, you might not be able to see it. In reality, one end is slightly fluffier. The end that you've pulled is always slightly denser together than the fluffy end. So we're going to use this, and we're going to use our needle felting needles. So these have barbs on one end. They're sharp. Do not stab yourselves with them. Always try and stab straight. Don't bend the needle. That's when they break, and they will break. Don't panic. If they break, try and find all the pieces, and I put them in fact it's right here. I've got an old printer ink tin that's just hard plastic. Pop it in there, and then when that's full up, it can go in the bin. Or if you've got a sharps container, you can do that as well. So always count your needles in and out at the end of each project, so you never lose your needles. But we are using a slightly different technique today, so let's get going. Also, in the comments, what's for dinner? So to do this, so this is a nice, easy beginner starter one. The way we lay it down to start with, I've discovered, makes a big difference between these two. So we're going to work from top to bottom for this one, but play around with different directions of laying it down for different effects. So this isn't a right or wrong way, this is just a way to get this and a way to learn to play. So I'm going to, like in wet felting, build up layers with the fibres going that way and then that way and then that way, so that it will lock together really nicely. So I'm going to start at the top, and this is so much information I'm trying to get out of my brain. These two pieces are subtly different. So the final layer I've done on this one was running that way. Which way is that? That way. And the final layer on this one was running that way. And it gives two different effects. So you've got this to play with. Oh, barbecue. Yes. Can you post me some barbecue, please? Also, how have you been this week? Tell me all the things. Robin also has her own YouTube channel, which is Feltaholics. So Robin, chuck your channel name in the chat so everyone can go and follow you, because you do amazing stuff as well. I got distracted. Yeah, so this one, the final layer we're going to do is that way. So I'm going to start, and now, can you see how thin my layers are and how even they are? So I'm just pulling little bits and laying them down. I'm starting with the darkest blue, which is, says on the thing, Wave. And then I'm going to go to a little bit of Dream. And again, pulling it out. I'm going to aim for more sky this time, I think. I think I want a little bit more sky and less green. And have I mentioned that we're building up lots and lots of thin layers? I'm going to take this, which is Camo. All of these fibres you can buy on my website or in my shop. And I'm going to do something different just now. So when I'm laying it down, I've got my hand there where I pulled it out, and I'm going to flip it over, because that is a slightly fluffier side and it blends slightly better. And then I'm going to take Olive and I'm going to do the same again. So I'm flopping it over, and that gives more of a smooth blend coming down the way, if that makes sense. Oh no! Sending all the get better wishes. Yeah, Mum was complaining that she's feeling a little bit under the weather when she was going up Ben Nevis. Now this is Hedgerow. We're going to grab some of that, layer that down. And then last but not least, we have Evergreen on the bottom. So that is our very thin first layer. And I love this look. Oh, question, which one am I doing? I think I might do this one again. We'll see, we'll see. I really like that vertical. Yeah, no, I'm doing this one. This is my favourite. And now I'm going to do some horizontal lines. So we're going to do 2 layers, felt it, turn it over, add another layer, and then felt away. There's a whole process to this. I've spent Mum and Dad came and rescued me at, in fact, this one is going that way. There we go. Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. Ah! Oh well, that one's like that now. So I'm doing these ones, I'm not even listening to my own advice. So I'm doing these ones horizontally. And I'm making sure again, even though that they're not a straight dip, dip, dip. I'm letting them overlap a little bit. So it's blending it. So this is how you would build it up if you were wet felting as well, I believe. The wet felters out there will either shout at me or agree with me. Now don't get me wrong, I love wet felting. I think it looks amazing, it's beautiful. I'm allergic to dish soap. So using it is really bad for making it is really bad for my hands. I know I should get gloves, yada yada yada. It's also very messy, and you kind of got to, for me, you've got to be like set up and in the mood and da 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 da. Whereas needle felting, you just pick up your needle and stab, and when you're done, you just wander off. So that's my justification of why I'm trying to wet felt with needle felt. Anyway, we have made it to the bottom. Oh, now I like it better this way. Oh no! So we've built up our first 2 layers. And, oh, there's a car outside. I'm going to start felting now. So I'm not going to felt too much. And I'm just going to stab all over. Being nice and random. Now, while we're stabbing the wool together, we are also at this point in time stabbing it into the foam mat, which is why we're going to have to, after we've spent this tiny amount of time stabbing, we're going to have to pull this up and flop it over so it doesn't stick. Now, this is the concentraty bit. Oh, there's comments. Before I do concentraty bit, I'm going to read the comment. I knew you were going to say that. I know you can wear it with gloves. Like, I do my dishes. I do. Okay, if you ask my parents, I don't do my dishes. I do my dishes, and I do wear dish gloves. There's a word for them. I can't remember it. And I wear gloves for that, and it's fine. So I can definitely do them. It's just a faff for me, and I love needle felting so much. Okay, right, concentraty bit. We're going to be slow, and we're going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to pull up a little bit with my thumb, and you'll see it starting to pull out of your mat. So once we've got this slightly more felted, those are bad words, you won't have to be as gentle. It's just for this first pick up that you need to just gently pick it all up. And then you've got the back. So I've got a front, which is horizontal, and the back, which is vertical. But now I'm going to work on the back. I'm going to add more layers of horizontalness. So again, these are really thin layers that I'm laying down. And I'm fading from the blue, the wave blue, to denim, nope, to dream blue. To a little bit of the camo, just a little bit, and so I've pulled this one out and it's a little bit too together for me, my liking. So I'm going to pull it apart a little bit and then lay it on. And then I'm going to, tends to happen when you've got a smaller amount, or if it's scrumpled up slightly. So it's easier to pull out even sections from bigger lumps than it is from smaller lumps. If that, you can still do it, still perfectly fine. But if you're having trouble getting it nice and even and thin, try a bigger lump and then practice, and then you can get onto the smaller lumps. Lump being the technical term. Oh, would you like to hear? I've got a couple of stories of what happened since last time we spoke. I got home after the last felt along to my wonderful parents in my flat. It made my dinner wonderful. It was sitting on the table, amazing. But then Mum, she was like, oh, but I want to watch the felt along, and we couldn't watch it live because we were walking the dog. So she put the felt along on as we were eating, and I had myself chatting to myself. It was surreal. I don't know how you guys put up with me. Eventually she turned the volume down, but she couldn't stop it because, you know, the algorithm. And then she quietly watched it in the corner with it on low so she could hear the rest of it. If that happens again tonight, hi Mum. I'm embarrassed and in a corner right now. My parents are great. They are moving up here very shortly, so they're getting everything ready. And coming up quite a lot, which is wonderful. And they want to play with the dog. Okay, so again, I've lightly felted that down. This is really quick passes that we're doing because we want to be turning it quite a lot. And you can see this time it is easier to pull it off and it's wanting to stay together more. So if bits do stick to the mat. Oh, I didn't. It didn't work. If bits do stick to the mat, just pick them up and plonk them back on. Like if this bit was to come off, that's fine. I'm just going to plonk it back on. Now I'm going to stab a little bit on this side and decide. No, actually I'm going to get, also I'm going squinty and off of the thing. I'm going to decide just now. Or you're going to decide for me. I think Robin, because I can see I've got other viewers, but nobody else is chatting. Everyone's too shy. But Robin is holding it. She is keeping up for everybody else. Am I doing the final layer? Or is the final layer going to be horizontal or vertical? So are we repeating this one or this one? You decide. While I do some gentle stabbing. Stabbing and flipping. Like a pancake? Is that what you do to a pancake? Am I making pancakes wrong? Do you not stab a pancake? And you can see this is still super fine. And it honestly feels like nothing. But it is going to all melt together. Once I've done a final layer. But, I should probably say, you can do it thicker. If you want a thicker one, do a thicker one. If you want a thinner one, do a thinner one. So I've kind of, how do I describe this? I'm going up and then down and then flipping. Just so I don't leave it for too long. And in a minute I'm going to tidy, well once I've decided if it's vertical or horizontal. There is a delay on this, so I have to wait for a second for comments to come in if I ask questions. Also, oh yeah, they call her grand dog. It is adorable, and she's fallen in love with them. It is spectacular. I got distracted. Robin, horizontal or vertical? It's all down to you. What was I about to say? Yeah, I'm going to tidy up the sides in a minute once I put the final layer on. Oh, and that's the other thing in the comments. I need your help. My dad came in while I was trying this out earlier, and he's like, "What is it?" And I went, "It's a..." Ooh, I just clicked. I clicked my fingers. And he was like, "What is it?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's a thing." And he went, "Well, you need to call it something." And I'm like, The guys online will decide what it is. My initial reaction was like a cuff, but it's not. It needs a lot of felting for that. And then my other initial reaction was, it's a bookmark. But it would be fun to smoosh this while you're reading a book. And then it would just felt even more. So this could be a bookmark or a picture or anything you want it to be. Also, I think my belly might be about to rumble. And Robin, you're still not answering. I know you've heard me now. This has been long enough. I feel like I'm telling you off. Or are you just refusing to comment? I'm going to do it horizontal because I'm thinking about needle felting a little house onto it. as well. So I'm going to add one more layer of horizontalness. Am I going to add a vertical and then a horizontal? I'm going to add a very thin vertical and then the final horizontal. Oh, you're thinking. Okay, I'm going to add the vertical and then we're going to see. And again, you can see it's starting to pull slightly unevenly. So I'm just going to tidy up and even out my layer a little bit. Because we want to use every single last bit of scrap. And again, I'm laying these with the fluffy, because if I do leave it this way, I want it to... That's not the blind noise, that's a different noise. And I don't know what that is. So with this, I'm actually just going to tease it apart, decide which end is fluffier, and pop it down. I may need to go and delve into my stash and get a little bit more of this one. Or am I just going to... Nah. I am going to have to delve into my stash anyway, but that's not the point. Oh, hey Penguin, you made it. Excellent. Welcome to the nonsense. You need to help Robin. We can't decide. And so hopefully have you jumped in or are you catching up? That is the question. If you've jumped in, we need to decide if we're doing this horizontal or vertical for the final one. Horizontal or vertical? We have options. When I see it like this, nope, I think it's yeah, the nonsense is real. I think this is going this way. I gotta say, it's winning me over every time I put it this way. And then put some little flowers, and it's like a field of flowers. Oh, okay. I win. I win. You've just done excellent. We are practicing needle felting without the backing. So these are made without any pre-felt, that's what I'm looking for, without any pre-felt, by just layering up, stabbing, and then repeatedly flipping it. It is very exciting. So this is how we can, if you can't get access to pre-felt, or if you want to just have a double-sided piece, this is how you can do it. There we go. So now I'm going to do one last stabby stab all over on this side. Flip it over and do the same again on the other side, and then we're going to tidy up the edges. And then it's just rinse and repeat. How are you, Penguin? What's been happening? Anything exciting? So as I said, I'm going to do 2 stabs all over and then flip it, because we want to be really careful not to let it stick to the back. I'm being reasonably gentle while I pull it off, but now it's pulling off all in one go. So there's the horizontal and there's the vertical. Yeah, I prefer vertical. Yep, done, decided. I don't know. Wait, did you say anything, Robin? So the sturdiness, yes, because you have just jumped in, Penguin. We've been layering up that way and that way and that way. We're just deciding now on the final direction, because we want it to be like this one here. I've done doop, 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 and then the final one is that way, which builds up the strength, makes sure it doesn't just come apart. But we've got this final, like the final look, where we've got all our different options of what you want to do. Yeah, I'm thinking this is like a lovely backing for, it's like, I don't know if anybody has seen the wet felted, like really detailed Like Moy Mackay, her stuff is amazing. We used to. I will again get her book in my shop. She does amazing needle felted artworks, and she wet felts and needle felts at the same time. So this is my interpretation of wet felting and needle felting, because I'm cheat wet felting. I'm also really hungry. Yeah, I think little flowers. I've got some purple next to me. So again, this bit's a bit lumpy, so I'm just going to pull it apart. Yeah, today when I did this first one, I was like, this is terrible, this is horrendous. There's never going to be anything. Oh my god, I'm panicking. Because I, as usual, left it to the very last minute to... wasn't my fault, but I left it to the very last minute to decide what we're doing. And then I did this one just as a tester, a second tester. And I was like, nope, it's fine, everything's fine, nobody's panicking. So these are all layered, and I'm going to start, although I'm going off the edge of the mat, but that's fine. Okay, last layer, and then we're going to tidy. I've been saying this, and then we're going to tidy the edges. I've said this a lot, but we are. I promise we're going to tidy the edges up. Although you don't have to tidy your edges up if you don't want to. You can leave them fluffy. I did one that I've not shown you. Where is it? Oh, it's on the wrong side of the... I found it. So I did this one, which I'm not entirely happy with, but I left the top. So this was like my beach interpretation, and I left the top really fluffy and just tidied up the edges a little bit to give it a really organic look. So that's, you've got that option as well. You don't have to make it neat and tidy around the edges. If you want to have stuff coming out, you can do that too. You have the options. This is, going sideways. This is your design. Oh, someone said. That would be, I was thinking that. So that's my penguin, you're in my brain. Next time, I make no promises, but I've seen these like little tiny needle felt pictures. I think I want to do like a series of little tiny needle felt pictures to go in little tiny frames. And I think that would be absolutely adorable, and we could definitely use this thing. Oh, hiccups. We could definitely use this technique. Okay, so I'm remembering to flip it over. Look at that back. I really like, especially for this grass design. So when you're needle felting, you're stabbing the fibers through and knotting them into each other. And when you're flat needle felting, that pushes it right the way through to the other side. And then your little fibers pop up the other side. And if you do it enough times, it kind of looks like little grass shoots, which is making me incredibly happy. Although this would be a very large bookmark if it was although it will smollen up, insmollen, what's the word for that? If we, the more you felt, it sort of shrinks together. Oh yeah, you guys inspire me as much as I maybe inspire you. The best chat on the internet, or the craziest, one of the two. Okay, am I tidying the edges up? I don't know if I want to tidy the edges up. No, I should. Should I? Oh, look at that. I don't know if it shows up quite as well on camera as it does in real life, but it's just a lovely fade. And I'm going to do this, so I normally say your picture is done whenever it's done and you're happy with it. But I would definitely say with these ones, we're gonna want to make sure it is robust if it's going to be used or handled regularly. Are those the right words? You can still, if I hold it up to the light, which you can't see, I can still see through it. It's that, like, it's really thin and it still compresses quite a bit. Which side did I just do? We'll figure it out. Probably this. No, this side. I'm just vaguely tidying up my edges without any, just kind of tucking in any stray bits. So it's a little bit squarer. And then the same at the bottom, just kind of tucking and squaring. If that makes any sense. We'll need to do it a few times to properly square it off. I was halfway through a thought, but I think it disappeared. Oh yeah. How do we know when it's finished? When it's holding together, it's looking how you want it to look, and it's doing what you want it to do. Is when it's finished. And now I'm at a fairly good stage where, look at this. Can you believe that's already holding up? It's got a little bit of give still in it, but pre-felt is softer than that. You can also use a little bit of wet felting techniques and scrumple it, like wiggle the surfaces like you would do with wet felting, because that kind of, the agitation helps lock the fibres in, and the agitation as well, especially on this piece, will remove a lot of the needle marks. So give it a nice wiggle and you see needle marks have disappeared quite well. Okay, I want to, what time are we at? Oh, we've got plenty of time. Oh, the head comment, oh. Yeah, so I'm not going to do any more on the edges. They are just nice and floofy. But I'm going to stab all over for a wee while. Should we... Yeah, I need to try and put some flowers in. So, let's go over some of the key points that I might not have stressed enough. We want the layers to be even and thin. So there's no, if I rub my hand over this, it's all the same thickness. Even though I've done different layers, there's no lumpy bits. That's quite an important bit. And you don't want to stab too much in any one place. We want to stab evenly all over. And because I've got these 3 in a row, I'm being cautious to not make rows. I'm having it on an angle and being random with where I stab. So it's not going to look... What's the word? So it's not going to have like straight lines across it. Oh, that really makes me happy. I'm so excited to felt onto this and do flowers. Oh, question. Oh no. I want to do it with yarn. We could definitely, like the back of a watercolor, and then you do ink on top, like pen ink on top. This is like the watercolor back, and then you can... Also, if you've seen this technique anywhere else, please let me know. Oh, there's a long comment. Hold on, I've got to read them. Also, hey Audrey, did you get my message? Excellent. Audrey is crocheting a lovely cardigan, which is turning out beautifully. It's a lovely green colour. Yeah, I like the dark to light, and then the reverse. Oh, I'm going off again. And then the reverse in the sky. Yeah, Robin is very correct. Things tend to graduate. Yeah, so we can play, entirely play on top of this. Because it's still got a little bit of play in it. There's gaps between. Squish, 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 squish. There's gaps. It's nice to felt onto. Yeah, you do not need pre-felt. I think I kind of like it even better. I really like the double-sidedness of it. I don't know quite how. Yeah. So many questions. Oh no. I sent you a reply when I got to my computer at like 5 o'clock. Give me a shout if you don't get it and we'll figure it out. Okay. I need to do something on top of it. This is a bit I'm scared to do now. Okay. So I'm going to do it on this side, I think. And are we going to do little flowers? Where is all my yarn? I'm not going to I don't want to have to steal his yarn. In fact, should we put him... I should have put eyes on the top of his head so that he can sit there. Right, where have I hidden? Oh, it's all the way over there. Have I got any yarn handy? No. Okay. We're going to do it with some purple bits. Well, we're going to see if it... I'm still standing by my house. What do we think? Oh, then we should put some dark... Okay, right, no, I am going to get the yarn. Hold that thought. And yes, I wear slippers in the shop when I'm working. In case you heard the slip, slip, slip noises I was walking across. Okay, we're going to play with yarn. It's going to be exciting. So I'm going to take some dark green and wiggle it up. Oh, I want a single. Do I want a single? No, we can do it with a 3. And wiggle them up. Have I got scissors? Yes, I do. We can even do some leaves. So this is going to be quite a abstract flowers, shall we say? I'm not going to tidy up the bottom of them. I'm going to let them just be. A little one in the middle there. And go straight. And this one's going to go up to there. If this turns out terrible, I reserve the right, and the joy of needle felting is that I can just rip these, because I haven't thoroughly felted them in, I can just rip these off and it doesn't matter. And place them different places. Because if I don't like that one there, I can literally just pull it off. Once it's thoroughly felted on, you won't be able to. But at this early stage, the planning stage, oh, I know I'm getting to the concentrate-y phase because I've gone quiet. Oh, enjoy your dinner. Oh no, phones are great when they work, but when they don't work, it is very annoying. Okay, so now I'm gonna take some yellow, pop that on the floor, and I'm thinking big daisies. How long have we got left? Oh, we've only got 10 minutes. So a yellow centre with white flowers. Does anybody object? Oh, in fact, hold on. I completely forgot. I have got single needles. I've got single needles in my thistle pot that has now got, I've got the orange filament. So now officially these kits should be going out very shortly. I've just printed the stack of I've got 3D printer, it's amazing. Printed a stack of the pots. So these kits should be in the shop very soon. But this has my needle puzzle needle. I'm just going to put that, oh, you can't see it. Just going to put that there. And it's got a single needle, which is a bit easier for controlling when you're doing these. Oh, so now I'm going to need some white. Hold on. I'm going to slip her across. Oh no, not my white is here. Don't nudge the camera. Hee, look at this. So these are literally just scraps of yarn that in my hoarding goblin phase I refuse to bin because I will use them for a project at some point. And this is the project they're going to get used in. Yes, excellent. Okay, we have agreement that we're going to do daisies. They're going to be slightly curly daisies, and I'm fine with that. The only concern I have just now is that it is going to push through to the back, so now it's going to be a one-sided picture, but I'm fine with that. If you don't want it to be one-sided, or could I do the same but on the other side? Maybe. Look, I made a fried egg. So I'm just loosely basting. Yeah, that works. Basting these in. And I will tidy them up later, but I want to get them in so that we can see it as a fully finished thing and then stab all over it later on. Make it neat. Or don't make it neat. You do not have to. This is making me surprisingly happy. Oh, barbecue. What have I got? Oh, yeah, tonight we're getting baked potatoes with a variety of toppings, which is one of my favourite meals. So I'm very excited about that. I always try and do an uneven amount of petals, but whether I've managed that this time or not, who knows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I haven't managed it. Oh well. Oh, this has got a knot in it. Boop. Boop is the technical term. Boop. Don't worry, that knot will be put back in the box and there'll be a time when I'm like, I need that knot. This is so fun. Yeah, baked potato, because you can just put everything on a baked potato. Like, they're the ultimate, what's the word? People say that potato chips, or crisps as we call them here, are just vectors for other foods. But I maintain that's the same with baked potatoes. It's the other foods that you put on it. So I will tidy up that flower later and thoroughly felt it in and make it all pretty, but I want to get a few in before I A, run out of time because I have to run away at 6 o'clock, and B, spend too much time faffing. So I'm not going to use the same yellow for the next one because I don't want them to look the same. I'm going to get a different yellow out of my, having a box of yellows. Oh, there we go, that's a fun one. So that yellow is some scrappy wool that I hand dyed with turmeric to see if it would work, and it did. But it does still vaguely smell like turmeric. I probably didn't rinse it out as much as I should have. But hey ho. If you want to get fancy as well, you can do shading with different yellows and do outlines and all that jazz. You are free. I'm going to use a different white as well. This is some terrible hand spun from some. So I was experimenting with chain plying hand spun here, and it didn't work very well. Well, no, it worked. It just wasn't what I was looking for. So that went into the box, and now it's going to go into here. So I've moved shops recently. I don't know if anybody's heard. I haven't talked about it non-stop for ages. I've moved shops recently, and I've now got a massive office space up here where I've got my printers, everything set up, my computer stations, my packing stations. It is amazing. And it's about three times at least the size of my old office. And yet, I moved in last month. I've already filled this space. How have I already filled this? In fact, I think I need a bigger office. I have so many questions for myself. Oh, but I have to tell you the wonderful story. And she may listen to this, or she may listen to this. Oh, my parents are vegetarian, so I won't get bacon bits. But there'll be cheese, there'll be beans, there might even be homemade egg mayonnaise, tuna mayonnaise, all the things. Yes, the person involved may listen to this. But I had some wonderful customers the other day. Came in, said hello, and immediately I was like, I recognise that face. How do I know that person? And then I looked to the husband, and I'm like, I recognise that face too. Okay, how do I know them? Quickly thinking back, because not to brag, but I see a lot of people in the shop, which is lovely. But my regular people, I always want to remember when they've been in before, what they've bought, what they're making. And I had this memory, and I was like, "You guys don't ride motorbikes, do you?" And he's like, "Yep." And I'm like, "Oh, you're the people." So I tell the story in the shop quite a lot of this couple that came in, and the husband had just bought a new motorbike. So every time the wife was like, "Can I buy this yarn?" he just looked at her and went, "Motorbike." And that was yes, you can buy that yarn. I've spent a lot of money on a motorbike. You can buy whatever you like, darling. And it was the motorbike couple. And she's a felt-alonger as well from back in the day. It was so nice. We chatted for ages. It was nice to chat with them. And I told them that I tell people in the shop all the time the motorbike story. Because we always trying to find, especially when it's a couple, the non-knitting partner, I always try and find what their secret hobby is as well. So I'm like, well, how much woodworking stuff do you have? How much whatever stuff do you have? To try and make the knitting partner feel, they shouldn't have to feel guilty, but feel slightly less guilty about the amazing amount of yarn and squishiness that they get. So, and they were so chuffed that I still tell the story of, yes, darling, I just bought a motorbike. And we had a great week catch up. Okay, finding another white. do. And that is that enough to go around this flower? Maybe not. Let's find some more. Again, I have an excessive amount of white, including, you know, when you're halfway through a project or something and you just hate it. It goes in the bag and I'll frog it. Or these are test projects that go in there as well. Let's use a bit of you, shall we? Oh, did I nudge the camera? Nope, I think I just nudged the lights. I think we're fine. Exactly, yarn is a necessity. This is some more of my early hand spun. Yeah. Yarn, not only is it useful, it doesn't go out of date. It gives you happiness, not only making the project, having the yarn, wearing the project. Yeah. Yarn is, I don't know if I've mentioned this. I've probably mentioned it a few times. I stopped drinking, 4 years ago now. And at the beginning of my sobriety journey, it wasn't that exciting. I just didn't enjoy alcohol or the hangovers anymore. I was putting aside as much money as I would have spent on a couple of beers. This is going to go off the side. Each week as I would have spent... Wait, no, let's try that story again. I was putting aside the money I would have spent on alcohol into a yarn fund and buying yarn with it. And it was so motivating. And I bought so much yarn. And yeah, so now every time I look at a ball of yarn, I'm like, that's a bottle of wine. But it gives me so much more joy and no hangover. I'm loving the squiggliness of these. It's making me very happy. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Robin. I know the panic that I've... Because it takes... This camera, I love this wee camera, but if you shift it, it does take a wee while to find where I was. So I normally, for like 5 minutes before these streams, I'm just... No, it's squinty. No, it's still squinty. One last one, and then have we got time? Oh, it is time for me to leave. But I think you guys have the idea. You know, so on the back, in fact, you can just see it a little bit coming through. There's a few little spots, but nothing major. Though when you felt it thoroughly in, it will show through. So you do, if you are going to do something like this on it, you need to make sure it's going to be a one-sided thing. Or you can cover the back in fabric, or you can just let it be. But yeah, I'm going to carry on doing this another day in the privacy, not live. Don't put your hands over it. I'm going to carry on felting this, and I'll show you guys next time how it ends up. I'm probably going to do some leaves and maybe some more grassy stuff. But yeah, tonight we have taken scrap bits of fluff and some scrap yarn and made a picture. I'm really happy about that. Awesome. Sorry, I was just reading the comments. Every time I go quiet, I'm reading your comments. Yeah, if you can, I'm going to have to wrap this up and go and get my food. But please like this stream, subscribe to my channel. We're almost at 2,000 members. It is amazing. I cannot believe it. I have so much fun doing this. I can't believe this is actually a thing. Thank you so much. We have a Facebook group where you can pop your finished pictures. Links below. Go and follow Robin as well. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, comment after the fact as well. I do read all your comments and try and respond to as many as I can. Thank you, my squishies. This has been so much fun. I'm going to go have baked potato and cuddle a puppy. And that's my evening. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, my squishies. Oh, no, you're going to see me now because my mouse has died. Because I can. Oh, there we go. I've got my skin. I can end the stream. Not you're with me for the whole evening. I can't